showing both very good aggression as well as being good on the defensive side. That Frost game was, really solid the way he counterattacked and just killed his opponent. But here we are now. We have in the bottom left corner of the map, we are on Yonsu once again. It is from Team Alien Invasion. It is CPU. And in the top right, his Zerg opponent, the purple player. He's from Team Esports Club Visualize. He is winner.
So, CPU went into the winner's game to face off against Grubby in a PvP, where he lost 2-1 to be here in the decider. Winter, unfortunately, lost his first round game. Ended up in the loser's game up against TT, where, of course, TT was victorious, and so... Winter was just victorious, and advances through to the decider. Whoever wins this advances forward. They get a better seeding in the main tournament at, of course, Epicon. And yeah, this is going to be very, very important for both these two players.
Yep. Actually, very early drone scout, it seems. I guess winner is, he doesn't want to get surprised by something like proxy gates. Means he holds CPU in pretty decent, if not high regard, and really anticipates something like a G. And it's just going to scout just to be sure that his opponent is not preparing anything nasty in the early game.
Well, it's a good map to proxy on. It's a short rush distance, tons of places to hide stuff. What's really interesting is the Winter's actually using his first Overlords to check for proxies as opposed to just rushing across. And that's why this early drone scout is actually really important. Ooh. Okay. CPU did this... Winter did this up against Grubby, didn't he?
He did indeed. And actually CPU sees this relatively early, so he can start getting an early Zealot out quite early if he wants to deal with this. I like the idea of still walling off. But it's still not a very easy thing to deal with, and it can throw off even the best players, because on ladder this is still not a very common strategy.
It's a big investment. 300 minerals early on in this hatchery heavily delays your natural as a Zerg. But it's annoying. Zealot being chrono boosted. And probably what you've got to be most concerned about is a queen coming out. And the reason for that is if a creep tomb is placed in your natural, it delays that base so long.
Oh yeah, it does indeed. And once again we have the probes here being pulled by the Protoss. I think he'll be in good shape to take this out. He doesn't have to pull as many probes as Grubby did, who pulled 5. I think CPU is dealing with this quite adequately. And I wonder what his follow-up will be, because Grubby did a very effective all-in off of 2 base. And if I were CPU, I'd probably do the same.
So, no... Again, we're getting that drone come through. Not getting the queen, which is... obviously fine, but...
Yeah, he can't get it out in time, so there's really no point. Getting the drone in for a good scouting is quite nice though, but there really isn't any tech which gives away what CPU wants to do quite yet.
CPU adding in his second gas now. He did go for the 2 Zealots and the Stalker. Unfortunately, those Broodlings are going to take a little bit of shields off, but luckily no health damage. And the Stalker just ready to deal with the drone that's busy trying to get some scouting information.
Yep. Unfortunately, he cannot join his Zealot brethren yet in the counterattack, because he could do quite a bit of damage, but there's once again a Spine on the way, which should be just in time, as well as a Queen, of course, and a couple of Lings, so very similar scenario to what we saw in the previous game against Grubby here by Winter. The differences though are quite noticeable. Like, I think this Nexus for CPU is earlier than Grubby's, but his counterattack will do very much nothing.
Yeah, there's the Queen out, there's a good number of Lings, and the Spine. There's not really anything to do there, but CPU adding in the Twilight Council. I'm feeling DTs.
I'm not sure why not.
I think the reason DTs would be good is because Winter, if he's gone for this proxy hatch, delays his own natural, which means that if he wants to keep up economically, he has to cut gases. There's no other way you can do that, especially with the queens that have been seen. But Blink's going to be on the cards. Blink's also a really good choice.
Wow, he's actually going to get a scout off and see the Blink. At least he should. Yeah, let's check his vision just to make sure.
Does.
He does. Even though CPU could have seen this, potentially could have seen this overlord coming quite a bit earlier. It's a very common spot to put an Overlord there on the top right. But unfortunately, he did not put the Stalker in a decent position there. And yeah, it's once again 2-base Zerg, and the question is he going to go for a very quick lair once again? Still no additional gas is taken in the main, so I don't think we'll see the swarm hosts. Maybe later.
A lot of drones coming through, and that's because Winter knows that he's safe to drone at the moment. Blink takes obviously over 3 minutes actually in game to build before chrono boost, so not too much done. And actually, this is a misread right now by Winter. He's adding in spore crawlers. He assumes DTs.
I guess just the offset of gaining 2 spore crawlers to the risk of losing to DTs is kind of worth it. I mean, even later in the game, they can still serve their purpose. So I wouldn't really call it out necessarily as a bad move, but more of being overly safe.
Second Overlord trying to scout through just to confirm whether it's there or not. Won't get to see the additional gateways though.
So many gateways. This is definitely going to be 2-base Blink, no doubt about it. 7 gates. Almost classic.
Going to be very interesting to see how Winter's going to respond to this. He's getting the 1-1 melee upgrades, he's getting speed, and he's adding in a few more spines. But those spines aren't going to be too helpful because the Blink Stalkers can just avoid them.
Yeah.
So it's going to come to whether the Zerglings can get the wraparound, but with so many sentries there, the force field should be able to zone them out.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, and actually this moves out kind of got spotted, even though having that many sentries here can actually mean he can just take a third. This doesn't have to be a 2-base all-in by any means. Nice force field there, catching those links actually. Yeah, he doesn't have to all-in at this point. I mean, there is a lair on the way for Winter now, but he could just take a third and macro behind this, but his tech path has been completely off, and yeah, the warpins at the front really tell the whole story.
So, with all of this, CPU just needs to make sure that he does some damage here. This push across is a big investment, he doesn't have a third coming, but Winter is getting so much time to get up a solid defense. Look at how many spine crawlers are coming down.
Yep, you're right. This natural is going to be quite difficult to break. The fun thing here for CPU though is that, oh, he's going to spot, wait, there's no third whatsoever, why am I even attacking? Now there's a counterattack, and Winter is actually massively supply blocked, down 60 supply to 90. I do feel that, yeah, he recalls because he doesn't have to attack, but if he does, CPU is just in such a good spot, you know? There's 6 Overlords being added on, and he has so many spines, but spines only really help you stay alive, and they have 0 offensive capabilities. So I really feel that just sitting back and macroing would not be a bad choice at all here for CPU.
He needs to get a third. That's quite essential now if he wants to take it long term. Winter is also adding in the infestation pit. Swarm host would be a fantastic decision now because there's no AoE. The robotics facility, only 2/3, 3/4 done now, and that is far too far away in order to get out a sizable number of Colossi quickly, if a decent number of swarm hosts get out. But getting those swarm hosts on only 2 bases worth of economy is going to be very challenging for Winter.
Yep, and he's just standing there on creep, not really giving a care in the world. And well, there's actually almost nothing here except spine crawlers. And with Blink, this seems to be an engagement that can almost only go one way.
CPU pushing in, getting a lot of damage. All of really Winter's hopes and dreams lie with those swarm hosts getting out in time. There's just so many spines with the queens there that this army is forced back, but more units coming through. The rocks to the left are probably going to be the best chance of CPU breaking in easily. But Mauling's out now, a decent number of swarm hosts, and I don't see Winter losing to this push.
Yeah, I agree. Except, oh my god, that wraparound, that Blink was a huge mistake. Takes a lot of losses here on these Stalkers and these sentries, and suddenly Winter is in a really good spot.
Winter's still on 2 bases though, so it's not an ideal position. But with the swarm hosts, he can actually afford to be on 2 bases. Doesn't have to produce lots, obviously locusts come out free. Getting in a good position to make sure that...
Don't do it, don't do it.
Don't blink up, you will die.
Yeah. That would be a bad decision.
There's also no observer out, so there's no way to kill these swarm hosts.
Is there any NTR? Okay, there are still queens. So, I was actually expecting CPU to go and hallucinate a bunch of immortals, so he can tank the shots from the spine crawlers, but yeah, he didn't do that. And he's now happily taking a third and teching up heavily, getting Robo, double Robo, in fact, as well as Robotics Bay for Colossi. If he can deny the third at some point, that would be just so good. And speaking of denying a third, got a nice wrap around here.
Winter gets the complete surround. There's no units in position. With this many Lings, with 1-1, a cancel's going to have to be used. But it isn't.
Get cancel, actually. Oh, he was too late on the force fields, and that's actually quite a blunder. Swarmos have actually taken position in the middle of the map, and the rally isn't all that good, but still, this is actually quite difficult to do for CPU. It seems almost that the best defense in this particular case will be a good offense.
What am I... Oh no, the Lings have made it into the main! God. This is disastrous now. So many probes are going to die. The natural get cleared out, but the main base, just a handful of speedlings, going to pick off a good number of workers.
Yeah, CPU working in a bunch of Stalkers defensively. Not in a position he wants to at all. The last proxy panel on the map, actually in the top left, gets cleared out as well. And now the unstoppable march from the Swarmos towards the third starts. Has the upgrade for the Swarmos actually finished? Yes, it has. So.
Yep. So third base now coming out for Winter as well. This is an insanely late third base, but with the Swarm hosts, Winter's actually got a sizable bank. Because he can just keep sending these 3 units in, and until there's probably 4, maybe even 6 Colossi, it's a full-time job managing these Locusts.
Locusts moving even further forward. I feel that there's 0 defense around them. There's an observer, that's Colossi. They are so flankable. I feel this is just a disaster waiting to happen for Winter, but he's actually upgraded all the way to +2/+2 melee at this point, and he's doing quite a bit of damage. But these Blink Stalkers, if they can just get on top of these Swarm hosts, it's going to be a disaster.
It's really smart though by Winter spreading these Swarm hosts out, and also going in with just a handful to the natural. He's already taken out 1 gateway, gonna get another one, really starting to hurt CPU's production, forcing CPU to pull back, which then means the rocks can get worked through. The Hive nearly done as well. That's going to be for Vipers and probably Ultralisks, considering we've got the 2-2 there. And it's a very interesting but very effective composition coming out from Winter, who runs in with Morlings.
So, for some reason my game seems to have crashed, but I can still click on the minimap and hear relevant things going on. So I'm not sure if we need to abort the cast at this point and just rewind the replay. Because I probably need to restart StarCraft for this to work.
Well, for this moment in the game, actually, we're seeing things get pretty rough, actually, for CPU. He's about to lose his Dark Shrine, just manages to save with a big Zealot Warp in. The Colossus count, pretty damn high, up at 4. And, well, this is looking actually alright for CPU. He's lost a couple of workers at 20, but he's still up at 52 to 67. Unfortunately, the Swarm hosts are still in position and are not as sizable in number as actually Winter would like. He's only got 6 Swarm hosts there. Only went to 9 in total. So this is a little bit annoying for Winter now, because he invested so much in this working. However, 7 Ultralisks just starting production, 3/3 upgrades coming through, and chitinous plating. He is going for a big endgame push. No 4th base yet, and no 4th base yet causes a lot of problems.
So how do you think CPU's composition is going to stack up against that? Because it seems he still wants to go for a bunch of Colossi.
Well, he's got 4 Colossi out. He's not really getting any response to these Ultras. There's a couple of Stalkers, but there's only 17 Stalkers, and they're going to be trying to fend off 10 Ultralisks. Out they pop. There's no Immortals, and these Ultras are actually going to wrap all the way around. There's a good number of Archons there which are going to help, but these Colossi are duking it out. Are they going to be enough just to out-damage these Ultralisks? Good blink back, good micro coming out from the Colossi, and they're stopping the majority of these Ultras from getting into distance. Only 4 on the field, 5 more on the way, and Winter is pumping all of his money into trying to get out enough Ultras here.
Once again, the composition is really the crucial key here. Does he have the Immortal count up in time, which he needs to fend off all these Ultras, as well as the AoE?
He doesn't even need them, to be honest, because Winter, he's just getting crushed at his third. There's so many units in position right now for CPU, and so many Colossi, 6 Colossus, and there's the GG. Winter loses game number 1, and CPU